Gilles Peress, The Silence. There's been a lot said and written about what this book's about. There's been a lot said and written about how Gilles Peress did this book. The country was in a major civil war, and around April, I think, 94, the Hutu government, and I think it was the Burundi president, was shot down in an aeroplane, and the Hutu extremists blamed the RPF, which is the Rwandan Patriotic Front, which was made up of the Tutsi population. After the plane was shot down, basically all hell broke loose, and I think hell is a word we can use within the context of this. On over 100 days, there were over 800,000 Tutsis macheted and clubbed to death. Gilles Peress went in 94 and photographed the aftermath. I'm not going to show you all of the book because I just don't want to, because it's graphic. This is showing you death right. It's just hitting you in the face. I can't explain some of this, the photography, how Gilles managed to do this. I'm not really sure. It must have been incredible. But I think it is an important document. I think it's an important book, which I think you have to look at wisely. It's not something I want to throw around the internet. It's a beautiful body of work. I think Gilles has done an amazing job here, and an important job, and a reminder of how savage we are as human beings. Now, I don't want to get on the moral high ground at all. I'm a photographer. I see it from Gilles' point of view. He had to do it. It was something that had to be done. It's an incredible, groundbreaking piece of journalism. Okay, let's look at it. It's done in 3 chapters. It's called The Sin, Purgatory, and the Judgment. Let's just check the size of it. 6.5 by 9, which if you put a blue A4 against it, you can see a rough idea of the size. It's a little small, bit bigger than A5. What I don't like about the book is how it's made. I think it's that perfect binding, but the binding's awful. The binding, for such a special book, such an incredible book, and such a rare book to get, you can still get it around on bookshops and on the internet, but this binding it's just like weak, and you can't open some of the pages out fully because you feel like the actual where the bend is, it's going to rip it apart, and I'm really reluctant to open some of it. And I'm going to try. What I'm going to do, the editing might get a bit jumpy on this because I may open a page I don't want to show you. If you want to look at this, go and buy it. I think it's an important book historically to have, and it's just, there's no words for it really. The silence is something which I think says a lot about the way it was reported around the world, and I think it's a sort of marker on that it went a bit unnoticed, the killing of over 800,000 people. Okay, let's have a look at it. So we've got The Sin, Purgatory, and the Judgment. Rwanda, Kabuga, 27th of May, 1994. Now remember, it was April that the whole thing went down. Now, I think this book, it begins with this picture, and I think this is a Hutu, somebody who was killing the Hutu militia, because a killer is presented to us. It is a moment of confusion, of fear, of prepared stories. He has a moment to himself. And then the book ends with that shot. So you're beginning with that. It's a lovely little bit of narrative, with a bit of structure to the narrative and a little bit of hidden meaning within that. And I'm presuming that. So we've got The Sin. So incredibly strong pictures. So I'm going to come down on that. So if my edit jumps a little bit, it's because I've cut and I've opened a page and I'm going to cut it off because I don't want to show you. It's just too graphic. Okay, so the symbolic. This is the sin. It's very symbolic. The machetes, and that's the club. like almost artifacts of death, isn't it? Almost like sort of like a witch doctor ritual thing as well. Look at that, man. Incredible. The bloodshed which they've caused. Ugh. Bones, baptized in a church, family photographs. And I guess this is a marker to show that the people who live there are Hutu, so they're safe. Incredibly poignant statement. And some writing. I can't work that out. It looks a bit like it's in English, but it could be French. I'm not really sure. So I've missed quite a bit of stuff out because it's just incredibly graphic and incredibly sad and incredibly not relevant to be putting on the internet. I think it's relevant in the book, but it isn't relevant in the victims who are alive. It must have been quite an emotional roller coaster and journey for Gilles, knowing that what he was doing is really important, to take this witness as a witness to what had gone on, because nobody else has got it like this. I'll just cover that. And this is, I guess, the sanctuary, the aftermath of the attacks. Traumatized kids. Incredible. This is where the binding gets a little bit. It's coming away already, the binding. It's just such a shame. It's not coming away, it's just separating a little bit. The stitch is still on it. You can see the disbelief in some of their eyes and of what's gone on. Taking shelter. Incredible. I've been out in Africa and I've been out in places where it was quite dangerous and people were suffering and dying and stuff, and there's something about the whole air and the smell of death, and it's an incredible surreal experience, but nothing like this. This is another level, 4 levels up, you know. I sadly, what they're witnessing. But these are the lucky ones, I guess. These are the ones still alive, I presume. They're the lucky ones. Incredibly moving, resting, the aftermath, the burials, purgatory, Zaire, Tanzania, April 94, Zaire, July 94. Oh my God, purgatory. Purgatory. And how this whole thing changed after this genocide and massacre was that the RPF took control of the government, which led to over, I think, 2 million Hutus and being displaced and become refugees. So after the Hutus massacred 800,000 Tutsis, the Tutsi RPF took control of the country and cleansed their country, if that's the right word, and got rid of all the Hutu population. I guess this is the exodus, isn't it, of people escaping from the Hutus under the massacre. Well, a hell of a time for Gilles to be there and the danger. Brave. So we go back to purgatory. Let me find. So that's July, April, May, June, July. So this is just after. So this is about 100 days or so after. So this will be towards the end and the escape of everybody. And water holes, I guess. So I'm going to miss some more, and I'm going to go to the judgment. And this is the final chapter. This is in July 94. I think this is the escape. Look at that. Incredible, isn't it? What a story. What a thing to witness. What a thing to be part of. We're so lucky. We're so lucky. We're so lucky we don't have this in our society. And it's thanks to journalists like Gilles Peress that we get to witness this. And, you know, I say that with a heavy heart, you know, I wouldn't want anybody to go through this. I've missed out a lot, again, because I don't really feel that I need to be showing you these pictures. And I think the final shot is to end on this man. A sort of poignant reminder and a sort of question, leaving you a question. We don't know anything about this guy. I presume in the context of this, he's a perpetrator, but who knows? So you've got to be very careful because the back shot's pretty graphic too. I think this is bad enough, but the other shots in there are pretty hardcore. Anyway, a very sad tale. Some incredibly strong photography, incredibly brave photographer. I'll put a link for Gilles' work on here, and you can buy this, go out and buy it, see what it's about. Thank you.